Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another also in Archaeology survival video. We are starting off here at the Sarcosuchus enclosure. And as you might have been able to see in the time-lapse, I gave it a roof and some nameplates that I should be adding to all of the creatures that I have. But that will be a later task for a later date. I also named all of them. So now we have 5 of them in here. I put 2 extra in here because it's pretty big. Maybe I could even add more. But for now it's fine, I think. And today we are going to be moving on to right here. And what I had in mind was actually sort of 2 enclosures in one, but not all that big. So you see this area, right? I was hoping to divide this up down the middle. And then have this space be one, and then this space be one. And what I'm gonna be putting in there is gonna be the Dimetrodon and the Adaphosaurus. Surely, Adaphosaurus. Adaphosaurus and Dimetrodon, these 2. So one will be on one side, one will be on the other. And I thought I'd put them next to each other because they look very similar, very alike. And I think they fit the rough reptile aesthetic pretty nicely, so that's why I'm putting them in this corner. So yeah, that is what we are going to be doing today. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, which would be crazy. I've been doing this for a little over 3 months, and the progress I've been making, thanks to you guys, has been crazy. So, yeah, if you could help me out on that front, then that would be hugely appreciated. And let's actually get started with this thing. Also, I did not wax the roof, so it should oxidize over time, because I think the green will suit this environment better than the bright copper color, I think. I don't know, yeah, I quite like this as well, but I think the green would suit better. Also, if you noticed in the intro, the skin I'm wearing, it's because I'm doing a bit in a server with my friends, so that's why I changed my skin and it looks like this now. I have to do some more decorating, like outside of enclosures, you know? Because I feel like everything is kind of disconnected in a way. There's just gaps between everything, and I think I did better with that, like over here in this direction, right? How everything is like more connected with more decoration in between, but I feel like this corner is lacking that. So I might fill this up with something of a rock formation, add plants all along that border right there, close this off with something, and maybe add like a little plaza here with a fountain, maybe, I don't know. And this can be like a big gathering area for everything that you do in this area. Yeah, so what I have laid out right now is along the path you will have a sort of wooden bridge that you can walk down, like over this, and then on both sides there will be different enclosures, and I think I will give the bigger one to the Dimetrodon and the smaller one to the Adaphosaurus, right? Which I think is actually not a dinosaur, so why it's called Saurus, I don't know. But that doesn't matter. As far as I'm aware, it's still reptilian enough to be included in the reptile area. And I think I am going to dig these areas a little, or down a little. Maybe like a block or 2. Let's see, if this is lowered down like this, and the bridge thingy will come down like so. Right, and then you'll be watching from like this side if you're not on the bridge. Maybe we raise the floor here instead of sinking the ground. We can raise the floor 1 block and then sink the ground 1 block. And there should be a 2-meter barrier that they can't get out of easily. And then if we enclose it in like a ring of glass like we did over there, then that should all be fine. Let's see how that works. I'll go turn on the time-lapse. Wait, it was already on. I'll go return on the time-lapse and we'll see how it goes. The reason I'm putting these guys together, by the way, isn't just because they both have the sails on the back or look really similar, but they also actually lived at the same time as each other and in the same area. So I feel like it only makes sense. That way I can keep the theme between the two enclosures relatively the same. Let me turn that down, that's annoying. Yeah, that way I can keep the theme relatively the same, and if they're basically connected to each other, then it doesn't really matter if they're both the same or looking the same with different creatures in it, because it's they're just in the same neighborhood but in different gated communities, basically. And this way they can see each other and interact, but not kill each other if that is something that they ever did. Quick intermission, but I thought I'd show you the... Oh, car honk. I thought I'd show you the server that I'm on. So this was my base of operations for a long time before I got anything built. That's my neighbor. And this is what I ended up building. So I chose a pale garden. Yeah, pale garden biome. And you'll see why I have this skin on. And I also have full enchanted chainmail because I felt like it. And this is my base, which I think is very atmospheric. I think that looks very cool. So, the way you get in, this is what you're greeted with. A dirt smiley at the end. I got a whole bunch of candles all along the walls and the pillars. I don't have the windows in yet because that's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of colored or stained glass. And yeah, why this is there, I don't know. There's also a beacon that just rendered in now. And then you stand here and then you speak to, what's it called, your congregation? I don't know. Your fellow believers, I don't know. And then we have the bell tower, which is currently lacking a bell. We go up like this. And then we have a door over here with a temporary storage system, which I'm building a new one for, so this will go away. And then you have a balcony over here, which overlooks the whole room, which I also think looks really cool. And then at night, let's see. At night, the creaking come out. That's a pretty sick shot, actually. If it would turn around, it doesn't feel like it. Yeah. So, the biome is pretty dangerous, especially at night. And also during the day, the mobs really don't burn because there's a giant roofed forest that they can hide under. This is where the bell is supposed to be hanging. And then I have all these trapdoors here to have these kind of shutters, I guess, that keep the rain out, but like keep the bell sound from going out. And then this should actually be a clock tower, but I just felt like this was nicer, so you could have a few of other people. There's also someone behind that hill over there, but you can't see, and someone there. Wait, there's one there, behind there, behind there, and all the way over there. And also someone down there, which you can't see because it's way too foggy. On the other side, we have... This is gonna go down to the catacombs or the crypt or whatever. That's gonna be the storage system and some decorated area. Then we have a little sleep. Also, another little tower add-on thingy. And that looks like this. It is very small. But yeah, it's modeled after a real church, so I felt obligated to include it, just like the rest. So, we go downstairs, the winding ladder, or winding staircase. And then over here I'm going to be making the crypts. So these are going to be like little pieces of the wall that jut out inwards. And then here you're going to have all of the chests. And then maybe at the end, like a couple of those big tombs. And I got some crazy neighbors who built stuff like this. Or this. Progress update. This is what we're working with. I added a couple of these trees because I just kind of googled Triassic environments because that's from the time period they're from. And yeah, usually what you see is this very what's it called, like bland landscape almost. There's not, I mean, there's no grass. Yeah, grass wasn't a thing yet, I'm pretty sure. So there's only like bare dirt with some horsetails maybe, or ferns. I don't know exactly which of those they are, but I'll have a look. And I don't necessarily go for too much paleo accuracy or whatever. I just try to base it off of looks. So if something looks close enough, then that's fine. It doesn't need to be that specific thing. And honestly, if it looks good, then it looks good. And the creatures will like it anyway. Speaking of the creatures, I turned off hunger because these guys were getting on my nerves. They would have full feeders and still they would not eat. They would take damage while standing next to a full feeder. So I just made the executive decision to turn off hunger. They couldn't starve already and now they can't be hungry at all. Yeah, I thought that was a good idea because, well, like I said, I just don't like looking out over the creatures, knowing that I just filled up the feeder, and there they go, all of them in a row, in a corner, just all taking damage. So yeah, that shouldn't be happening anymore. Hopefully they fix that in the next update, if that's something they're working on. Yeah. Oh, look at this big guy. That boy. There's another one. That's the same one. There should be one like over there somewhere. Oh, I think I can see something. Or is that the... That's the ball. And one over there. Let's see, if I'm looking on the minimap, there should be... Oh, there's two over here, just like kind of... Oh no, he moved. Never mind. That's one, that's two, that's three, that's four. And then over here is five. The little guy Mason. Yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna fill in the floor with maybe a similar mix as this. Maybe something a little drier looking. This is very muddy. Like the darker browns. This is... Well, that's way too dry. That's like red. But maybe like a... coarse dirt, or what other kinds of dirt are there? Well, this is only dirt. There's probably enough that we can work with, so I think I am mostly satisfied at this point. It's looking relatively nice. Actually, it's getting nighttime, so I can't really show you. I added a whole bunch of foliage, and the floor is in, and the bridge is in the middle, which turned out quite nice. I'd say maybe would that look better? I'll just do one side and just see how that looks. And then I sleep, and then the sun will shine on this side. How does that look? On one hand, I like it. On the other, I'm like, now it's a little too same color. You know? You feel... Let's see from this side. Yeah, maybe it does need the brown. I'll replace that in a bit. Now I actually need a proper way to get out of here because I haven't added that yet. The thing is, these guys come out of the Triassic period, right? And whenever you look up like references for the Triassic, it's all kind of samey. You know, it's pretty barren. This is mostly what you get, I believe. You get some tall trees and some foliage, like a lot of the cattails and whatever. So even though it's a little, like maybe a little boring compared to the other stuff, it should be fine because the Metrodon and Edaphosaurus aren't the most exciting creatures in the world. I mean, I can just kind of escape like that. They shouldn't be able to jump out anywhere unless they are skilled in parkour in ways that I wasn't aware of. And I think because the Dimetrodon are bigger, I will do less of them in... Well, they're both about the same size. Maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 Dimetrodon over here and then like 4 Edaphosaurus over here. I feel like that works well. Also, they have the huge sails to do like thermo regulation and whatever. So they don't need that much shade. So if they want shade, they can go lay over there or hide between the cattails. I think they will be fine here. No feeder because sadly there is no point. At this point, at least. I quite like this part actually, this railing over here where it's just slightly higher. And then there's like the glass in between the rocks. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. What I'm looking from like this angle, and maybe like zoom in a little, and maybe like do this. It looks like I'm in a proper zoo. Maybe if I do a little bit of this. Yeah. Yeah, no, ever since I made the switch from more, what is it? More sanctuary focused to slightly more visitor focused. I think the possibilities really opened up more. Right, the bridge. So that was a good change, if you ask me. I need to be able to see. This goes there. Now, today's episode isn't that exciting, but if you've made it this far, then I'll tell you a little secret. I am planning next episode or the one after to do the big one. And with the big one, I mean, am I no, there you are, all the way at the bottom. Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's gonna be a big enclosure, and hopefully it's gonna be really cool. I am thinking of putting it... Oh, that has to load. I'm thinking of putting it like over here maybe. This place is like slightly steeper, so we can make a cliff out of that and have like a waterfall go through here. Have a large water basin of some kind right there. It's kind of like another version of this, but slightly more woodsy, right? More forest. I think that will go nicely with the T-Rex. And then size, I don't know how crazy we want to go. I feel like they need like at least the same amount of space as the Spinosaurus, even though that was quite a lot. Maybe we can like shorten this out. I don't know if you can see my, yeah, you can see my mouse. Like this area, but like cut it off here, right? If I maybe like this if it was square. Anyway, we will figure it out as soon as we get there. But that's something to look out for, I suppose. Well, maybe I should continue this type of fencing over here. And that should tell visitors not to go over there. Any falling in the pen is at your own risk. And you will end up like Harambe. I like that. Yep. It's simple, but it's to the point. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or big or whatever. This is going to do just fine. Now let's quickly shoot on over to the lab, where we can have a look at how many or how much DNA we have for these guys. Surely we have enough, right? Let's see. The Metrodon for a Devosaurus 10. Well, that's more than we will ever need. Biogoo. You know the drill. Wait, what did I say again? 3 of those. 4 of these. That should be all of them. 3 and 4. 7 eggs in total. And what did I say again? Which side was going to be which? Probably the Metrodon on this side. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to put a slight gap in between placing these. So if they do end up taming, torch. I need a... Really? Now, rain. So when they do hatch, I can be at both of them at the same time. So let's first get the Dimetrodon going. 3 of those. Let's also grab the old Dinopedia, which is not there, but not here either. What did I... Oh, where my book at? Did I type it wrong? I typed it wrong. Okay, so those are 26. So now I'm gonna go to the other side, which isn't that hard. I say as I fall, which isn't that hard. I say as I don't fall. And let's get these guys going over here. Smaller eggs, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so those are bigger. I should probably get a block in between these so I can quickly switch from one to the other. Let's get that going over there and this going over there. Yeah, that's easy. Let's see, how far are you along? And let's wait these out. The eggs have started dancing, which means let's stand in the middle. So if they do get tamed, oh, look at them, little babies. No, untamed. Why do all of them need... Why is this one of those cases? Please let it be one of those cases. Chicken. Where I can just hand feed them and then... Yes! Please don't eat all of it. Where's the third one? Over here. There. Please, 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 please. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Now quickly, we go to the other side. So by the way, 7 new dinosaurs, or actually not dinosaurs, 7 new creatures means 7 new names. So you guys need to go crazy with name suggestions. I want wacky ones, I want silly ones, I want funny ones. There's plenty to be named, so plenty of chance that yours is going to be picked. Oh, there we go. There we go. Little guys. Edaphosaurus. Alright, are these... Oh, these are herbivores, actually. And the Metrodon is carnivorous. I'm quite sure. So does this mean I can just... Yes. Where's the other 2? Someone's hungry. And the last one is like... Is it you? Is it you? There we go. And that is everyone tamed. And then these guys are gonna go up. Let me get rid of that. And let me also get rid of the other torch and this block. And finally, one more thing before I forget. We also need one of those magnum torches. I made a bunch, right? Yeah. I still have 2. I'll put that underneath the bridge. Unless this guy decides to quickly jump underneath there. And that way we will have no mob spawns in here. The Metrodon is just one of those creatures that I've known about ever since I was a little baby man. Oh, I can jump. Ever since, well, right, as a kid I've always had these dinosaur books, right? That the Metrodon would also be included because of like evolutionary reasons, even though they aren't like whatever, science and biology and whatever. But those were one of the first ones I actually knew. So seeing them here and having them be little guys and getting to see them grow up is pretty exciting. And actually, I was actually wrong. My first enclosure in this world wasn't the Velociraptor. It was on the beach right here when I still had my whole setup over here with like just chests and whatever over there. I had a tiny little square-ish enclosure and I put a singular Dimetrodon in there. I put a torch next to it to have it warm and when it hatched. And later on I came back to check up on it and it was gone. Just completely gone. I don't know if it died, I don't know if anything else happened to it, but it was just gone. No drops. The wall wasn't broken. I don't really get it. So that was the very short-lived story of how the Dimetrodon was my first dinosaur, or my first creature, prehistoric creature in this world. So the more you know. Now actually I think I'm going to do some cleanup work around here. I feel like apart from the enclosures itself, this place is quite messy and it needs a touch-up. Time-lapse is done. I think we have quite a nice area on our hands. Kind of looks like wonky sunglasses. I've heard other comparisons, which are also valid, but I'd rather not say. Let's see. I added benches and these trash cans. Let me know if you like these. I can also do maybe. Do I not have? Well, I can make them. I can also do it like this. You know, where it's like a wooden barrel and then you just lift the lid and put it back down. Let me know which you prefer, the cauldron or the barrel. Did I get it? I got it. So just keep that for now. Yeah, these both these guys are getting acclimated to their environment. I was gonna put their fossils somewhere as well, but I didn't really find a good spot for it that didn't also take up way too much space. These guys are also chilling. And these guys have tiny heads in comparison to these guys. Well, Dimetrodon's head is also relatively tiny, but that is crazy. The amount of chunk per the chunk per head ratio is kind of crazy. Oh man, I fell in. That was kind of easy, I hope. Nah, surely they can't. Surely they cannot jump out. So what else did we do? I changed the whole floor from path blocks to scaled blocks and prismal stone. So that looks a whole lot neater now, a whole lot more professional. Because what says professionalism like a paved road, am I right? Changed it all the way up until this point. And I think I like it the way it like kind of... It has a similar-ish pattern, but it also gets broken up by the bigger prismal stones, so that's nice. And yeah, I think I'm satisfied with this. If you have any fun facts about these guys that I should know, then do feel free to tell me in the comments. And maybe if I missed out on something that I could add in here, then tell me all about that. Or you can tell me directly in my Discord server, which the link will be in the description. So join that if you use Discord and or are cool. I think that's gonna do it for today. So don't forget, I need many names. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like. Maybe subscribe. We're almost near 1,000. I already said that, but you can also dislike. It's the same for the algorithm, so just be you, I guess. And that is all for me today. So I will see you guys next time. Oh,